Hi, this is part 2 in my series about estrangement catalysts and what you are doing as a parent that is going to get you a ticket to the estrangement train. Hi, my name is Annie, and this is Grand Alienation. We provide resources for alienated grandparents. And maybe if you're watching this and you think, yeah, that might be me, take note, take heed, because these are warnings. I have an episode number 1, and this is episode number 2. These are the things, the irritating things that you are doing that cause your kid to say, I'm done already. I can't do this anymore. Okay. So this is episode number 2. So let's just dive in, right? Okay. Okay. So let's just dive in. Number 1, repeated pattern of I'm sorry, but you won't change. So if your kid has rules in their house, like you got to take your shoes off when you come in the house because they don't want you traipsing in all kinds of dirt, or if it snows where you are, then they don't want you to drag in all kind of dirt into their house. So if they say, Mom, just come on, you got to take your shoes off. Please respect my rules of my house. If you go, oh, I'm so sorry, but I just had to grab something. No, that's the rule. Okay. So if your behavior doesn't change, if they keep telling you to do something like, don't give my kids cookies before lunch, and you keep doing it. Okay. Don't tell grandma, don't tell mommy. Okay. Grandma's going to give you a cookie right now. They won't know. Don't be doing stuff like that. Just violating their boundaries, violating their rules. And if you keep doing it, and you keep saying sorry, but the behavior doesn't change, take a look at yourself. If this sounds like something you do, you better stop doing it, because it's going to get to a point where they feel like they have no hope that you're ever going to change. And then they're going to just say, okay, well, if she just doesn't respect that rule, she's not going to respect any rule. I can't anymore. Then they're going to cut you off. Okay. So all of these little things that I talk about, all of them add up. And you think it's like one grand gesture that you did that cut you off? No, it's all of these little things. So, listen up, because these behaviors are prevalent in all of us. We just have to mind them and respect their rules, respect their boundaries. All right. Okay. So number 2, ultimatums. I'm only going to talk to you if you apologize. Or I'm gonna give you the silent treatment until you apologize. You cannot put conditions on your relationship. Okay. Oh, I'm only gonna do this when you give me a grandkid. That the grandkid thing is a huge thing. It's a huge manipulation tool. And that was in episode number 1. This is episode number 2. So you cannot put conditions on your love or affection or your relationship based upon their performance. And what that does is it makes your relationship conditional, and it makes your relationship feel transactional. Like you don't really value your kid unless they fulfill these certain conditions. So don't give ultimatums, because those are rude and they're just mean. Okay. Next up is favoritism and triangulation. So this is like when you pit your child against another child. You have several children, or you pit them against their cousin. You compare them. You compare their performance. You compare their behavior. You compare them to other kids. And that is, it's a betrayal of trust. Because you're supposed to love your child unconditionally, but when you pick favorites and you're like, oh, you're my favorite, and I've heard some families like actually say, yeah, she's my favorite. That happened in my family, and guess what? I wasn't the favorite, so that did not feel good. So you cannot play favorites, even though you tend to gravitate more towards one than another, like the baby, right? Everybody loves the baby. If you have there's 4 kids in my family, the baby was always the best, right? The baby was always the favorite, but you can't do that. You have to treat them equally. You love them equally, and you can't show that you have favorites. Okay. And what that does is it makes the child feel isolated. It makes them feel like, again, like the love is conditional, and that you you love them less than you love the other kids. So don't play favorites. All right. Next one is disrespecting a partner or a spouse or their kids. Now, this is kind of a big category. So you have to accept, I should rephrase that. It is in your best interest if you accept your child's choice in a life partner, period. So you cannot talk badly about the spouse. You cannot say, she doesn't know how to cook, or, like just crass things like that. Or, oh, he doesn't work anyway. So, why does he have to get a new car? That kind of stuff. You cannot berate your child's partner or their choice in a partner because they chose that, and understand that the child's choice in their life partner is part of their journey and part of their life experience. So who are you to be the conductor of your child's life? You have to let them live their life. And having a life partner, husband, wife, spouse, partner, whatever you want to call it, that's their choice, because there's something in that relationship that they need to learn from. There's something in that relationship that feeds a part of their soul. You got to just let it be. And it's best to keep your comments to yourself. If you have to at least try to accept their choice, because I know some people who've been married for over 30 years and the mother-in-law still does not accept the spouse of like over 30 years. And if you would think by now, the kids are all grown and moved out of the house and they still choose one another, why don't you just accept it and move on? I don't understand that line of thinking. So what that does is, if you don't accept your partner, your child's choice in a partner, that it feels like an attack, not on your child, but on their family, because they're building a family. It would be in your best interest to accept their partner with all of their faults, with all of their gifts, with everything. Okay, so you cannot speak badly about their partner. And if you continue to do so, and you keep saying, oh, sorry, oh, yes, I was just kidding. If you continue to do these things, you are going to put yourself on the estrangement highway. Okay? And I want to just take a moment. I always forget to do my little commercials. If you could just take a moment, if this content, if what I'm saying is resonating with you, I would love it if you would like the video and subscribe to our channel, because I have a whole treasure trove of stuff to share. Because what I really want, my whole goal with what we do here, is to help mend bridges and help people to understand what they did on both sides. And I talk about the adult kids, and I also talk about the parents, what we've done to cause this rift in our relationship, so that we can be on the mend and be a family again, because that's very important. The children, especially the children of your grandkids, really need for you guys to be together and to join forces and be a family, so you can demonstrate what a healthy family looks like. What a concept. Okay. So if you like what I'm talking about, I would love for you to like, and I would love for you to subscribe. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Threats or coercion over inheritance, money, and will. You cannot use it. And again, that goes back to manipulation. You cannot threaten your kid. I'm going to take you out of the will. You don't divorce her. I'm going to take you out of the will. You cannot do that kind of stuff. And, you cannot, it's manipulation, and it's a control tactic. And if you are doing this, take a look at your own self. Take a look at not just your behavior, but your value system. Like, why do you feel the need to control your child's life? Control who he picks as a partner. If you don't get a divorce, I'm going to cut you out of the will. What? go and, fill in the blank, I'm going to fill in the blank. Those are manipulative measures. And if you are a manipulative, controlling person, take a look at what you're doing, because you're soon going to be estranged. And if you are already estranged, take a look at that, and maybe go get one of those things. What do you call those? Oh yeah, go get a life, because your kid has his own life. You need to make your own life. Okay. I'm just saying. All right. So let's get back to this. Refusing accountability or perpetual denial. So parents said, I never did anything wrong, or everything is just a misunderstanding. Okay. So these kind of things are what get you, like, guarantee is going to get you estranged. If you refuse to take accountability, and this is what the adult kids are looking for, they want you to take accountability for what you did. Now, I understand that 9 times out of 10, they didn't say, okay, this is the reason 1, 2, 3 why I'm cutting you off. They just say, okay, F you, I'm done. Click, and you're done. Or they ghost you and they're done. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to give you a list of demands. They're not going to tell you like, oh, you did A, B, C, D, E, and because you continue to do it, I can't take it anymore. I'm cutting you off. That's really what is happening here. So unless you take a look at yourself, take a look at your behavior, take a look at the relationship, just make an assessment of all of it. Okay, all of it. And how you're going to do that is you're going to take a break from everything. You're going to introspection is really key when it comes to trying to mend bridges and reconnect with your child. Okay, so here's the last one in this series, and I talked about it before in another video about safe topic rules. Okay, so you violate a rule if the kid says, Mom, I don't want you to talk about politics. Mom, I don't want you to, don't bring religion into this. My husband and I, we want to carve our own path when it comes to religion. Just don't be pressuring us to go to church. If you keep violating these things, past hurts. You keep bringing up like, I remember the time when you did this, and remember when you treated me badly. You don't bring up all this old stuff. If they said, Mom, don't bring up these things, and you keep doing it. Okay, Mom, don't ask about my kids, doctor appointments, because I know how you feel about doctors, and we don't have the same view as you when it comes to my child's healthcare. So just don't bring it up. Don't stop asking about, oh, what happened at the doctor? So like, I'm giving you an example of some topics that you don't bring up. Whatever the kid says, I don't want to talk about these things, especially in front of the kids, or especially in front of my husband. Mom, don't talk about these things. If you keep doing it, then what that means is you don't respect their boundaries. And I think all of these things, all of it, boils down to you're not listening, you're not respecting, and you're treating them like they're less than. So if you're to really think about all your behavior in the past, if you've done any one of those 3 things, like you don't listen, okay? I told you how many times not to do that. Tell you how many times don't leave the towel on the floor. I tell you how many times. Think about it. Play the records in your brain. Mom and Dad, and your grandma and grandpa, if you want to see your grandkids again, really, really take some self-reflection. Do whatever you got to do, okay? Go on a cruise. You and your husband go on a cruise and just lock down for 5 days and really think about and discuss your relationship with your child. Or what did we do? Because if you dig down deep enough, you will realize the things that you did to get cut off. And I say this because it's for me, it's been 2.5 years, and I have been digging into the dark, deep recesses of my memory. And I'm like looking at stuff. I'm like, there were so many warning signs for me. There were so many warning signs. And if I could go back in time, I bet you could too. If you could go back in time and just, undo all these things that you didn't know were boundaries. So let me speak to the kids for a moment. Okay. If you have these boundaries, maybe you can have like open conversation. Wouldn't this be wonderful? Like, Mom, I am really ready to just cut you off altogether. I cannot stand you talking about politics all the time. It just puts me on edge. If you keep doing it, I'm going to have no choice but to cut you off. Now, wouldn't that be refreshing if the adult child says it like that? But they don't. They say it in cryptic ways. Like just all the little things that you do, they don't articulate it. You gotta say something. If you keep giving my son cookies before lunch, that's just a huge violation of my boundaries. One of my boundaries is, for example, don't interfere with my son's nutritional journey. Okay. I have a specific way I want my son to eat. And if you keep feeding him things that are like junk food that is not on my approved list of foods, that is a boundary of mine. And if you violate that boundary, I'm going to have to cut you off. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe we can change the trajectory of relationships by telling these adult kids how they can verbalize what their boundaries are, right? Okay, so that's what I had to share for today. And if you want to learn more, because I'm going to have courses for you, and I've got like some free downloads. I've got guides and tools and things like that I want to share with you. Subscribe to the channel, and then maybe we can provide more of that information for you. So that's all I had for today. My name is Annie. This is Grand Alienation. Thanks for dropping in. I will see you guys on the next one.